Well, next on the programme, let's go to Lebanon, where there have been renewed Israeli attacks today. Among those killed this Wednesday were 2 paramedics in the south of the country. Lebanon's health ministry circulating pictures showing damages to the ambulance. You can see them there, these pictures, though, from the local defence team. Now, the Israeli army also today hit a car just south of Beirut, although it's not immediately clear who was being targeted there. Well, let's go live then to the Lebanese capital, to Beirut. Our correspondent Renée Davis with me on the programme. Renée, what more can you tell us then about these strikes today near where you are in the capital and also in the south of the country?
Just after noon today, we heard reports of a strike on the Khaldi road. So that's the motorway from Saida to Beirut. It's very close to the Beirut airport, only about 3 kilometers. What we know is that it was a targeted strike on a vehicle. We don't know exactly who they were targeting. There's also another reported injury. And we've just been seeing repeated targeted strikes all throughout the morning and the afternoon. The Lebanese army just denounced a deliberate attack on one of their soldiers and an officer in the car in Deir Sahrani in southern Lebanon. Like you said, rescue workers also targeted in an ambulance in Shuhair in the Tyre district. Now, these were rescue workers from the Al-Risala Scouts. So that's rescue workers affiliated with the Amal party, in alliance with Hezbollah, but not to be confused as the same party. They are separate, whose leader, in fact, Nabi Haberi, is also the parliament speaker here in Lebanon, only a few days ago said that he would personally assure that Hezbollah signs a ceasefire as well. So we've seen repeated strikes all throughout Lebanon. There's also all throughout southern Lebanon. There's also another strike that killed 6 people, 4 Syrians and 2 Palestinians. Also, Hezbollah launched rockets on Israeli soldiers. The Israeli army also announced that they intercepted rockets coming from Lebanon onto Israeli soil. So all of this is happening, all this escalation. Meanwhile, talks are taking place in Washington.
Indeed. So this is the 4th round of direct talks between Israel and Lebanon, Renée. What's your sense as to what the impact will be of those strikes you were just telling us about those Israeli attacks on Lebanon, on the talks happening in Washington?
Well, after the past heated few days we've had where there were threats on Beirut, Donald Trump came out saying that there would be no attacks on Beirut, that he's spoken with Netanyahu. However, strikes have been continuing in southern Lebanon. Now, what we know from the discussions is that they're set to talk about a possible 60-day period where the Israeli army would withdraw from southern Lebanon, and the Lebanese army and UNIFIL would take those strategic points. Hezbollah is supposed to withdraw north of the Litani River, so that's the river that cuts off southern Lebanon, and also discuss their arsenal. So there's a lot to unpack, and we'll have to wait to see what the comments are after these negotiations this afternoon.
All right, thank you so much for your reporting, Renée Davis there live for us in Beirut. Well, let's stay with this story then, but get the view now from Jerusalem, because it is not just Lebanon that's come under attack. The Israeli military today saying it has intercepted 2 projectiles that crossed into the country from Lebanon, as well as what it called a hostile aircraft. No injuries have been reported, but this is a developing story, and let's get more from our correspondent Noga Tarnopolsky. Noga, give us a sense then as to what's been happening in the border regions in the north of Israel today.
Well, the border regions in the north of Israel today are basically on full war footing. Today was the first day that the authorities allowed children in the largest city of the really close bordering communities, Kiryat Shmona, to go back to school. And it was a fiasco because the alarm sounded basically as the kids were just getting settled in. Their pictures hiding under small desks went all around the country viral. And it reminded the whole population of the fact that there aren't shelters in schools up there. So the sense here is that a virtual ceasefire has been imposed via Washington or in Washington. And it really is unclear on this end other than forcing Israel not to bomb Beirut itself, what other impact this may be having.
And Noga, speaking about how there is a sort of effort towards a ceasefire in Washington and that looking rather different on the ground, we have this divergence, don't we, between Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. And Donald Trump apparently using some rather explicit language to criticize the Israeli prime minister because of the unrest that we've seen between Lebanon and Israel. What can you tell us?
That's right. Although it's entirely possible Donald Trump is also angry at the way Prime Minister Netanyahu's war in Lebanon is impacting Donald Trump's efforts to negotiate with Iran. What we found out today from the president's mouth is that he did, in fact, ask Prime Minister Netanyahu, what the F are you doing? And that was accurately reported. He also said he has an excellent relationship with Netanyahu, but he said that he's frustrated and that he wants the war in Lebanon to end. This comes in stark contradiction to the messages put out yesterday by the Israeli Prime Minister's office, who had said flat out that kind of conversation did not happen between the prime minister and the president. So also in terms of the public diplomacy here in Israel, it is really a chaotic day with sirens, air raid sirens up north, and in Jerusalem, sirens, as you can tell, of a different sort, with the prime minister trying to spin what appears to be his deteriorating relationship with the president.